Hello. maybe. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're having some before we jumped on stream. OBS had an update. It looks like we're still having issues here. Okay. I think we're good to go. Potentially. No. Okay. We should be fine. Let's go back to the stream here. Turn on my webcam. Alrighty. We should be good now. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. OBS just updated again since I was on vacation this weekend in Vegas for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And every time they seem to update this dang OBS program, we have major issues from all of the stuff being incorrect. And now I'm having Discord issues. Looks like Tom is frozen. But we're here today, as Tom is going to come back in here cleanly here in a second, for episode 44 of the Full Send Half Mast podcast, where you're going to talk about a little bit of Formula One tonight. We're going to talk about the Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix, talk a little bit about that. I got a little bit of stuff to share with my experience there, as well as how the race went. We'll review that. We'll also preview this weekend's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which is the season finale for Formula One, and we will be here on Sunday for our final watch party of 2023, the one that you guys voted upon. We are going to bring it to you live here on YouTube on Sunday. And we are also going to be touching on a little bit of news as well over this past week in motorsports. But first off, we are going to get a quick word from our sponsor. The holiday season is fastly approaching, and what better gift to give your friends and loved ones than Dubby Energy Blends? Introducing Neurofactor, an all-natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you with energy, laser focus, and fast reflexes. Provides concentration with important aminos and vitamins without the crash that ordinary canned energy drinks just cannot provide. Try amazing flavors such as Dragonade, Dub Sludge, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, Beach and Peach. Buy the starter pack today, including 2 flavors and a shake cup for an extremely low price. Follow the link in the description below and use promo code DIGABOYS for 10% off your order. Thanks to Dubby for your continued sponsorship of the Digaboys broadcasting channel. Make sure to pick some up for the holiday season. Get you a tubby of Dubby. All right, we are back here to go over news. First off, Zane Smith was announced that he's going to be driving for Spire next year. We all knew that news from a few weeks back, but they finally announced that he will be in the number 71 car. So that's pretty exciting. I don't think I have any expectations for Zane Smith this year. I mean, he is a rookie. He is in Spire equipment and kind of in the third wheel there at Spire, kind of on like a 1-year lease deal here for Trackhouse. You have any expectations for him here?
No, it's a rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, and Spire's grown so much. I mean, there's got to be growing pains, right? Growing pains has got to be pretty severe, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially, especially Spire. I don't know. Spire's doing some big things, and we see that in the Truck Series as they've set their lineup for next year with Chase Purdy and Nick Sanchez driving full time for them in the Truck Series, as well as a third full time truck that is going to have multiple drivers, including Kyle Busch, who'll be running 5 races for Spire this year. I think he'll win at least one of those. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Kyle
Yeah,
Busch.
I think so too.
You can pretty much
Yeah.
guarantee that. The sun's always going to set in the or rise in the west, set in the east, or rise in the east, set in the west. And Kyle Busch is going to win a Truck Series race. Those are pretty much the guaranteed things you got to look forward to every year. And then also, we didn't know where Jake Garcia was going to go in 2024. Well, he announced that he's going to be going to ThorSport in 2024, most likely in the number 13 truck, replacing Haley Deegan. All right. Well, now that's his sophomore year in the Truck Series. What do you think is? Do you think the 13 team improves average finish, running order,
Yes.
performance?
Yes, of course. Of course. Yes. I don't have any doubt about it. I really don't. I have no reservations.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think Jake Garcia as a rookie did phenomenal stuff last year. He was close to winning a few races there down the stretch, but now that he's in some good quality equipment with ThorSport, see what he can do. Also, big news in motorsports as well. Rising superstar. She made the Chili Bowl last year. She's kind of been the face of female drivers in dirt racing, especially in midget car racing over this last couple years. Jade Advedisian, will be making starts for Venarini in 2024 and sign a multi-year deal with Toyota developmental program going forward. I'm excited. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for this. I think she's going to do some great things. I really do.
Yeah, I think so too.
The transition to
It'll
stock
be
car
fun to
racing
watch.
might be a little difficult, but I think that she's going to hit the ground running. Maybe potentially
I
see a
agree.
victory.
Uh,
Maybe.
Yeah. And isn't Breidinger running too?
Oh, I'm sure she'll be running a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been bouncing all over the place, trying to improve her craft by being more diverse as a driver. But I think it's a good idea.
Versatile. Yeah, absolutely it is. Get your name out there too.
Yeah.
Possibly get you a ride.
Well, you have more success when you go run other racing series around the world instead of racing go-karts in your backyard. But that's neither here nor there.
Come on, Jay. Come on.
And then also, for all of you Canadian NASCAR fans out there, they rebranded the Pinty Series to the NASCAR Canada Series. I think this is a big dub for them. I think if you're going to brand your series, why not just brand it the Canadian Series? I think this is a big dub. I think this is going to get a lot more eyes on the series, knowing that it's more of a set national thing, right?
Are they branding it like how they did the Cup Series where they have multiple title sponsors? Or like...
I would assume that's because I saw Pinty's
Okay.
was still considered a title sponsor, but they're rebranding it overall just to the Canadian Series. I know they did this with the Mexico Series, and that seemed to help a lot there to have more brand identity. So I think it's a big dub for the series and all. And the schedule got released, and it looks pretty interesting as well. Lots of road courses mixed in there. Should be interesting to see if the Canadian Series, because the Canadian Series and the Mexico Series, the way I've always looked at them, is their premier series in their own right. But like, why can't they be at the same level as like an Xfinity Series? There's no reason they shouldn't be in the future, especially if they brand them to be
I think...
each country.
Yeah, I think though there's that lack of ovals in the country.
That's
I
gonna
mean,
hurt a
obviously
little
we have different racing expectations here in the U.S. versus any other nation out there, but you know, I don't know. Maybe it's something like that.
Yeah.
Plus, the cars are so much different too. You know.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, again, it's not like the Cup Series. It's a developmental series, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe interesting. I think I'm with you though on the oval thing, because you think NASCAR, you think oval. I mean, road courses are good and all. We love road courses. There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, it's the premier oval series in the world, really, if you come down to brass tacks. So definitely lack of ovals is gonna hurt in the long term. And then also that 16 car calling in the Cup Series is going to be Ty Dillon. I am thinking that this is going to be the worst year calling racing has ever experienced in their entire NASCAR tenure. We got Daniel Hemrick and Ty Dillon representing calling in the Cup Series.
Look,
this is
big
bad.
W for Ty. Big W for Ty.
Oh, for sure.
Big L for the team.
I think that's a W for Hemrick and Dylan. I mean, they basically just landed on a pile of gold here. Holy,
Yeah, they did.
they
Good
landed on
Lord.
a pile of porta potties, man. Like, what are they gonna do? I mean,
I don't know.
this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be like Rick Ware racing levels bad. They might actually be getting beat by Rick Ware on a regular basis now.
God, that is an insult to end all insults right there.
I don't think you could think of a worse driver lineup, dude. I mean, honestly.
Well,
This is
wait a
bad.
few years. We might be having one come through the Xfinity series.
Yeah, that's true.
Just hold
That is
on.
true. Oh man. So good luck to colleague next year. We'll give you a preview of what we expect. We're gonna do multiple podcasts this off season. One specifically for like NASCAR, Formula One, IMSA, IndyCar, so on, previewing the seasons and everything. Any specific podcast during like December time, during the Christmas seasons and during the off season. So we'll give you more insight on that later. But that is what has been announced. And then also another thing that Tom brought to my attention was AlphaTauri is thinking about rebranding their name for 2024. You got any more insight
Oh yeah,
on
yeah.
that?
So yeah, look. So there was a little leak going on. All right, just a little leak. But they were going to be renaming this team, and I'm not joking. And it's just a leak, so take it with a grain of salt. Just a little bit. The Racing Bulls.
I can't get over.
I mean, they go from L to L to L,
I
right?
miss Toro Rosso. What happened to
Toro
that?
Rosso was
That
such an
was the
amazing
best
name.
There's
It
nothing
really
better.
was. It was such an amazing name. And then they went to AlphaTauri, whatever the hell that is. And then they go to Racing Bulls. What the fuck? What are we doing?
They should just mix it all together. The Racing AlphaTauri Bulls of Rosa.
Yeah, the Toro Alpha Bulls.
What a joke.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't know who
man.
came up with that, but
I don't
man,
think
that's
it took very long. I mean, honestly,
that's
I think
like
anybody could have thought of
that's
that.
like
name.
Cemetery L right there. Like, I don't look. If we have a Big Daddy NASCAR, like this is Big Daddy Red Bull right here. What the
Yeah,
hell?
The Racing Bulls, man. I can't get over it.
I mean, I really hope that this leak is just completely false. You know what would be good news if they just said, "Hey, we kind of screwed up with AlphaTauri. We're gonna go back to Toro Rosso."
I'd be
I'd be
100%
like,
good with that. Let's do it.
W right there. No,
Yeah,
let's just make it worse.
Alrighty. I think that's basically all the news that we had this week. It's a very just typical week news here. But we are going to get straight into the Las Vegas Grand Prix race review from this weekend. I just got back last night from Las Vegas. What an interesting weekend of racing it was. And it started interesting. Right off the bat, 8 minutes into FP1, we saw Carlos Sainz end up basically destroying the bottom end of his Ferrari there. It was one of those everybody kept saying manhole cover. It wasn't a manhole cover. It was one of those water lines that they do for the sprinklers right there on the strip. It was a little tiny little hole like that, but it came up and just wreaked havoc on his car. They end up canceling FP1. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a shit show from the beginning of the weekend. Unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that happened. They did go through with FP2. The Ferraris were fast. Unfortunate for Carlos Sainz, though, through this incident, they end up giving him a 10-spot grid penalty for replacing the battery from the damage on his car. I know I was looking at this. I was like, that's some Big Daddy NASCAR stuff. But I guess with the formula, or what makes the FIA different is they do stick to pretty much black and white rules here. So they didn't play any favoritism, even though it was out of their control. So I do have a little respect for that. But then again, it's like, it's a new circuit. Like, things are going to happen. Why punish somebody for something that was completely out of their control? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was super freaking lame, is what it was. I mean, what an absolute L call. And, I am. That was awful. How could you do that to a team where we had a track malfunction? They already accrued all of that money's lost in all of the parts they just developed, and then you're going to slap them with another penalty that will basically kill Carlos Sainz's race.
Yeah, it basically did.
That's
His
terrible.
weekend was done from the 8 minutes into FP1.
8 minutes. And it wasn't even like he was running hot laps either. You know, they were just chilling on the track, making sure everything was good, you know? And then a disaster. And
Yeah.
that is just unfortunate.
Yeah. So we really didn't get off to a good start. Then we get into qualifying on Friday, and we saw Leclerc and Sainz go P1, P2, but Sainz got the 10 phase grid penalty. He has started P12. Well, the Ferraris looked fast. Going into this weekend, it looked like the Ferraris, especially on race day, looked like the ones to win. And they showed pace. I mean, we get the green flag of the race. Verstappen drives into turn 1, missed turn 1, drives up the track, gets into Leclerc, and then chaos behind him. We see, I believe it was Alonso gets turned around, and then Bottas, who qualified really good. Oh, man, it was so crazy to see Bottas up front. He ends up running into it. Perez runs into the back of Bottas. Carlos Sainz gets damaged. So a lot of your heavy hitters there right off the rip get damaged. Brings out a virtual safety car. Didn't really change the front running, but it changed a lot of the incidents there. Because at this point, we saw Ocon and Stroll, who qualified P16, P19 respectively. They were able to miss the carnage, and they climbed up to the top 10 into points playing positions on the first lap. They really changed the whole outcome of it. And Lando Norris and Piastri, the McLarens, end up climbing up through the field through this incident. But it all quickly unraveled there for Lando Norris on lap 3. Get a safety car for Lando Norris wrecking there going into turn 12. It was the weirdest thing. It's like he was going through that turn 11 section and got sideways and then just walked her right up into the wall there. Tore up the entire front end. Interesting crash. Very interesting crash.
Just a loss of talent, really.
Yeah, that's
he
what
just
I
needs
say.
to get good.
And the best part about it, I'll talk more about it after we recap the race, my experience in Vegas, but the entire crowd just was devastated that Lando Norris wreck. I feel like I was the only one cheering.
You're like, yeah!
I was cheering, and everybody else around me was like, oh. It was absolutely hilarious. Oh, man. But, yep, so that took him out of the race. That was your first casualty early. But this happened to kind of change the strategy for guys like Sainz, Alonso, Perez, who had to make that early pit stop during the first virtual safety car on lap 1 with that big incident. This kind of put him on an absolute different strategy. After we went back green, Verstappen continued to lead. Leclerc took the lead there on lap 16. And then there was a little bit of contact between Piastri and Hamilton that caused a puncture for Piastri. So I'll talk about that more later. But he ends up coming down pit lane. Just sparks of flying. Really set him back. Looked like his race was about to be completely done. It looked like McLaren's weekend was just done and up in smoke. And then eventually Russell and Verstappen, after the first pit sequence, ended up making contact. Russell said that he didn't see Verstappen make the move on the inside of him going into turn 12 there. Verstappen said that Russell turned down into him. So they ended up giving Russell a 5-second time penalty after this, at which he was unable to correct through pit stops later in the race, which really hurt his race. We'll talk about that more here in a second. And then we got our final safety car on lap 27. So we had 3 safety cars in this race for the debris from the Russell Verstappen contact. And then Perez, who just got handed a golden horseshoe on a platter, ends up inheriting the lead. I know me and Tom had some Vegas betting odds on Perez this weekend, and I was looking good, man. I'll talk about it more in a minute with that whole thing with my experience this weekend, but I was stoked that Perez was in the lead here. But Perez became Perez. I think he missed it. I think it was turn 14 and allowed Leclerc to get to the inside of him, made the pass. And then Verstappen, who was charging late after that contact with Russell, ends up getting by Leclerc there on lap 37 and kind of just set the pace from there. They told him to stretch the gap so Leclerc couldn't be in DRS range, and that ultimately led to Verstappen's victory. And then Leclerc, on the final lap of the race, made a complete dive bomb on Perez in turn 14, makes the pass, takes over P2 right on the final lap of the race, and then Perez comes home P3. And Piastri was running P4 at the time with a few laps to go. They brought him into pit lane, put on some new tires so he could set the fastest lap and still drove his way back up to P10 to score 2 points, which I'm still kind of confused with the strategy here. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it sounded like he was holding good enough pace to finish P4, and then they just pit him. He went from finishing P4 is 12 points? He went from scoring 12 points and sacrificed 10 of them just to get 2 for the fastest lap, and then I didn't get the strategy.
They're trying to save face with the Lando Norris crash. That's
they
what
had
were
to
doing.
have been. They couldn't let Piastri show that he's a better driver.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Doesn't make any
Why?
sense. Yeah, that had me confused 100%. I guess now I'll talk a little bit about my F1 experience this weekend at the Vegas Grand Prix, and then I want to get your perspective as someone who watched it on TV of how your opinion of the race went. I guess my biggest takeaways here, like I said, me and Tom both kind of put a little bit of Vegas fortune and betting on some Paris this weekend. So when he took the lead late in this race, I swear Vegas was full of Checo Perez fans. Everybody was a Red Bull fan this weekend in Vegas. I swear I saw more Red Bull Perez fans than I've ever seen in my entire life. When he took the lead, I swear the freaking chants just went wild. It was Perez, Checo. Everybody was just screaming and yelling. It was a great time to watch that happen. And then to just see them all flop 4 laps later and just completely out of devastation when Leclerc took the lead. That was one of my favorite moments of the weekend for sure. And then, like I mentioned, with Norris wrecking me, I was the only one there that was not cheering for Lando, and just to see everybody's reaction with me cheering in his wreck. It was pretty fun. And then another memorable moment was when Piastri had that puncture. I was sitting right there in between turn 16 and 17, next to the Hilton Grand Vacations building. So we're right there on pit entry. And to see Piastri fly by us doing probably 150, 160, sparks flying. Wow. That was a sight to behold. I can't believe he even made pit entry. That was insane to see in person. And then I was the only one around me that was pulling for Alpine because, like I mentioned with Perez, I checked the odds before the race on Sunday, and Pierre Gasly's odds were like way too favorable to not take. I think it was like 225,000 odds. So basically, I was like, all right, he qualified P4. I was like, I'm an Alpine homer pretty much. So I was like, I'll take those odds. And he ran good all race, faded at the end. I probably should have maybe went with my boy Ocon there because he did go from P16. But it was kind of fun cheering for Alpine there when everybody around me just didn't care. It was like, it was literally Checo or Mercedes. And there was a few Ferrari fans, but mostly Checo. It was all Checo. And when Verstappen took the lead there late in the race, everybody started booing. That was a pretty entertaining moment. And I started singing Max Verstappen's song. That was pretty fun. Everybody was mad. Stay mad about it, everybody. Max Verstappen is the best driver of our era. Just stay mad. Stay mad. Yeah, and then, I mean, there was a few memorable moments of the weekend. Like, qualifying was pretty memorable. Was seeing a lot of the guys that you expect to qualify up front not really qualify well, like Perez and Hamilton didn't do good in qualifying. Alonso didn't do good in qualifying. Both McLarens qualified way back. Stroll didn't qualify good. And then Ocon didn't qualify good. And most of them all end up with points finishes at the end of the race, which changed for the few safety cars. I know after the second safety car on lap 3, I was like, oh, man, we are in for an absolute shit show. And it ended up turning out to be the best race I've seen all season, to be honest. I think it was an amazing race. So I think this was a huge success for Formula One in Vegas. I am so excited for the way it turned out, and I really want to go back next year. It was an awesome experience, and you might be seeing a few clips and footage and stuff from this weekend on the channel here in the next couple of days. But with that being said, I want to get your perspective, Tom. What did you think of the Vegas Grand Prix?
I actually got a couple questions for you. So,
all right,
there's a lot of videos that circulated the internet of people, getting on top of other people's shoulders and putting their phone above the chain link fence there that they blacked out, trying to get. What was it like? Did you see those fences? Like, what was the purpose there that you saw?
Yeah, so basically down the strip from basically Planet, or what was it, the fashion show, all the way to the end of the Paris. The Eiffel Tower was basically the circuit there, the strip. They threw up those big chain link fences, all the bridges, the man bridges that go over the strip. They blocked all those off with like black canopies and like they put spotlights on the bridges so you couldn't see down into the track. I saw lots of people just like, especially on like Saturday during qualifying day. I didn't have access to the bleachers on that day, so me and my dad were just wandering up and down the strip, kind of trying to see where we could scope stuff out for viewing purposes, I guess. There's a lot of security there, and they had lots of blacked out tapes, and then they funneled everybody into these certain back ways around all the casinos and stuff because they didn't want people to get close to the track. A lot of people were trying to tear down the structures. People were shooting their phones over the thing, trying to get footage of it. It was just an absolute madhouse. The city tried to prevent people from seeing the race, and I don't think it really worked per se, I guess. So there was a lot of craziness with people trying to see over the barriers and such.
And then, with the whole FP1 deal, you were in Vegas when that happened. Were there people legitimately angry, like throwing stuff and damaging stuff, and because they canceled FP1, and some people only had tickets to FP1, were people genuinely angry?
Well, a lot of the people that I saw there at that event weren't really racing fans, Formula One fans. They were just there, trendy, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. So I didn't really see anybody that was overly furious about it. But when I did go for Saturday, there was a few people that were complaining about not being able to see FP1. But these were people that held 3-day passes. So that anybody that held a 3-day pass were not eligible to gain uh, money back or vouchers or anything for missing FP1. It was anybody that just bought tickets for FP1 that were basically compensated, or they're going to be compensated with a discount on merch, which I think is pretty ridiculous. I think that they should be refunded all their money for that incident, but I didn't personally see anybody that had just tickets to FP1 that were frustrated for it. So
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see. I heard that there was some lawsuits getting filed. We'll see
Yeah.
what that turns out to be. I think it was just an oversight by both the city of Vegas, the city or the Formula One, or the FIA, and track stewards. I think honestly it was just an oversight. I think if they go back multiple years from now, it's going to be fixed and this whole process can be better. But honestly, I loved it. I loved the track layout. The track layout was a fantastic. Going around the sphere there was many passing zones. It was a 5, 6, 7 turns in a row with all these different left and right handers, a lot of slow pace corners, made for some great action. The long 1.1 miles. Put that in perspective. The straightaway down the strip was 1.1 miles long. The amount of runs people could get towards 14, if you were brave enough, like we saw the battle with Leclerc and Verstappen going into turn 14, was just phenomenal. Pit entrance was amazing. That's where I sat, and that like those guys were flying by there, and you could see crazy interactions. I think the fans loved it for the most part. Whether they get as many tickets sold in the future as they did this year, I don't know. I think that the nostalgia will wear off, but I think that the quirks and everything are going to be worked out. And I think that if I was to rate my experience, I would give it a 10 out of 10. One of the best races I've ever seen. The just the experience, the hospitality through the ticket purchase that we had was just awesome. We had free food and jugs of like free beverages. I mean, it was insane. They took care of the fans that were there, and the race was a phenomenal race. And you could definitely tell who was a real racing fan and who wasn't by talking to people because people didn't know what they were talking about. But that's okay. I think everybody had fun, and I would give it a 10 out of 10 for my experience. An overall experience, I would say probably for a casual is probably like a 7 out of 10 because they either didn't get to see it, didn't have tickets, didn't know what was going on, and then the whole FP1 shenanigans.
And then last question, did you get to meet a Lulu superfan?
Yes. I sat mostly by Mercedes and Checo fans. So yeah, when,
Yeah.
I think there was one point Gasly was running behind Russell for P3, and Russell threw a block and then threw a double block, and I'm like, "Damn it, George, get the hell out of the way!" And the Mercedes fans turn around and staring at me. I was like, I don't care. I'm an Alpine guy, man. Nobody was there for Alpine. Everybody was there for Checo, Mercedes,
Yeah.
or Lando. Your boy Lando, I guess. And there was a few
boy.
Ferrari fans. It was interesting, but yeah, the loyalties
boy
run
Lando.
thick over there for sure. Um,
All right. Well, you kind of touched on a subject there that I kind of want to touch on, and I watched a video of all the team principals in an interview discussing this, and I kind of want to pinpoint Toto Wolff here. Um, he got asked a question kind of regarding the clown show of what FP1 was. And he brought up some actually really good points, and my respect level for Toto went way through the roof after what he said. Basically, what he said was, do you guys not realize what these track organizers have gone through? Do you not realize what the people did to set this track up in this amount of time? It's monumental. To have something like that happen that is almost out of the control of the FIA, because we don't deal with this on a normal basis, is a monumental success. It really is. And he just continued to he slowly worked into it, and then he just full on went on with the insults of everybody who went out and talked against the track, the people who built the track, and I mean, he was just going ham on them. And I was sitting there and I'm like, you know what? This guy's right. We really just need to take into account what people have sacrificed to get this track ready to go, ready for an F1 FIA sanctioned event, and then put it on. But not only that, come up with a solution that is done and ready by FP2. And it happened. That's impressive. It is. So that's my outlook on it. What other track has that water system like Las Vegas? Seriously, what other track? It was uncommon ground for the FIA. And honestly, how they reacted to get it fixed and to move forward was W. Honestly. And they handled it in the right way in every single aspect except for the fans that were there. That's my only opinion. All right. I think the FIA could have done a little bit better on that part. And that's it. Now, in regards for the rest of the weekend, I think that this track layout actually very well suited these cars. We don't see that a lot. F1 is a very hard series to get not only get a new track in, but have a new successful track in. And I'm going to say Vegas was a success. I really am. I think that there's really... what was the worst part about the whole weekend?
FP1.
FP1. That's it. The passing was great. The racing was great. We had tons of action. The top three at the end of this race was bar none. I mean, where else are you going to find this? Really? I mean, not even Baku could do that. We've had some good battles in the past, don't get me wrong, but for the top three? No. That has not happened. So, I think that actually Las Vegas is a little bit of an outlier when it comes to the F1 tracks. I personally, if I was like Alpine or AlphaTauri, maybe even Alfa Romeo Williams, I'd circle this on my calendar for next year. And I would make sure that whatever I learned from this year, Vegas, I would study and do whatever it takes to make a fast, competitive car for this track next year. Because there is a great possibility that a team, let's just take two example, Red Bull this year, very dominant, very fast cars. But there is a great possibility that an underdog like Williams, like AlphaTauri, like Alpine can come out and steal a race win. Really. The only other race this year is Singapore after some extenuating circumstances. Maybe. But I honestly, I think Vegas was a W for sure. I don't think that there's really an argument that can change my mind. I really don't think so. I really don't think so. This was a great race.
It was an amazing race. I was on the edge of I barely even wanted to sit down. I mean, some of those battles were just insane. It reminded me a little bit, if like you mentioned, it raced a lot like a Monza, a Baku, and like a Monaco all wrapped into one. Like you had a
Yeah.
little bit of flair from all three of those tracks wrapped into one circuit. Amazing. I told my dad when we left, I said it would be awesome to see an IndyCar race here. I think IndyCar on that track would be
yeah.
freaking fantastic. It
Yeah,
would
it
never
would.
happen, but it would be freaking amazing to see IndyCar on Vegas Strip. But I'm excited for next year. I think it's a super big success, and I can't wait. Vegas is the mecca of the world. Like Vegas is literally the world's capital, if in my opinion. I mean, people come from everywhere to go to Vegas. It's a beautiful backdrop. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been to Vegas enough times, and like the charm of it's not there for me. But I mean, it's Vegas. Like the broadcasts look beautiful. So
Actually, I
great
got
place.
one more gripe. One more gripe. And I know this might piss some people off, but I really don't care. If it makes you mad, stay mad. The start time was awful. Terrible. Good lord. I'm staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm having tape stuck to my eyes like this so I could freaking watch and not fall asleep. That was terrible. At like 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, man, I'm going to sleep. I'll watch it in the morning. I know you guys want to, appease your European fans. I get it, but there's fans here in the U.S. too.
I don't know. The only thing I could think of with that late race start was I was like, man, how many damn F1 races have I had to get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning to watch this season? So it felt good to be able to just be in my element late night, you know? But I'm with you. I get what you're saying for sure. They could have backed it up just maybe an hour or two to help the Eastern Coast fans, but overall,
like
I think it was a success.
Sunday.
A success.
Noon on Sunday, maybe.
It would have been
something like
way
that.
too hot.
Send it.
Alrighty. So, yeah, with that being said, we're going to go right into driver of the week. I think we're going to nominate Lance Stroll. Qualified P19, survived the chaos, played a beautiful strategy game, maybe a little help from safety cars, but came from P19 to P5, nominee for sure. Esteban Ocon, P16 in qualifying, finished P4 at the end of the race. Same thing I said about Stroll, strategy, safety cars played to his advantage, but he had pace as well. So P4 for Ocon. And then I'm going to give it to Checo, Sergio Perez. This guy qualified terrible, wrecks first lap of the race, somehow inherits the lead, and then finds a way to find a podium that he hasn't seen in months. So big race for him. And then I was going to give Oscar Piastri was my other one I was looking at, but that pit call at the end just killed it for me. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So I'm sorry, not getting the nominee for me.
Way to go, Zach Brown.
and then the gift for Bonehead of the Week, it was kind of tough. I chose Lando Norris because he ran out of talent and crashed. There's nothing else you could say. That's just all that happened. I mean, he ran out of talent and crashed. Should never have been there. Should have qualified better. And then shouldn't have just ran out of talent. So that's a nominee there. And then I'm going to nominate George Russell for turning into Max Verstappen. I know that you didn't expect that to be a passing zone, but what did Art and Senna say? If there's a gap, then you no longer go for that gap. You're no longer a race car driver. That's what Max Verstappen did. George Russell just didn't expect it and turned down into Max Verstappen and really kind of ruined. He would have finished P4. That 5-second penalty put him in P8. So bonehead there. And then I'm also going to give it to, I don't even know. I want to give it to City of Las Vegas. I want to give it to the FIA. But you have to put the hole in the track in FP1 as some type of bonehead move of the week this week because the way they bounce back, definitely an A-class move, like Tom said. Just phenomenal job to get that going for FP2. But the fact that we did have FP1 get canceled for some reason, we're probably just going to put hole in track bonehead move of the week. I don't know. I don't know who to blame. There's like at least 8 different people, entities you could blame for this. So we're just going to put hole in track as our third nominee for bonehead move of the week. And then where points get interesting, your championship's locked up by Verstappen. Perez has finished this weekend, secured P2. Hamilton's finished, secured P3 in points. So the battle is now for P4 through 6 between Sainz, Alonso, and Norris. Sainz and Alonso are currently tied at 200 points, and Norris is back 5 points at 195. So fourth place is open to 3 different drivers this weekend at Abu Dhabi. Should be exciting. And then for constructors, we have a tight battle going into Abu Dhabi between Mercedes and Ferrari for P2 in the constructors, and it is 4 points. So Mercedes is up by 4 over Ferrari going into the final race of the season, which is what we're going to talk about next. It is Abu Dhabi weekend at Yas Marina Circuit. Our picks for this weekend, we have Formula 2 will be doing their finale on Saturday and Sunday. It's a battle between Vesti and Porsche for the title there. So we'll keep you guys informed on that this weekend, or this next Tuesday. We'll talk about who won the championship there, and we'll talk about the race previews there, but we're not going to preview it here. We are going to preview the Formula 1 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Like I mentioned, watch party on Sunday at 7:45 Eastern time. If you guys are up early in that morning, want to come watch the race with us, come on and join us for that watch party. Should be fun. The final race of 2023. All right, it's time to make our picks. I am not picking anybody but one person, and one person in particular, for the rest of the season. I know it's one race left, but this weekend just proved to me, again, best driver, 100% without a doubt in my mind. Max Verstappen wins the finale. He's going to win his 19th Grand Prix this season in 22 races, and he's going to do it in convincing fashion. I just don't know what to tell you. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. And then for my dark horse this weekend, I think he's going to bounce back from this weird pit strategy at the end of the race, the tragic qualifying. I think it was just a weird weekend here for Piastri. And I know Dallas said it on the podcast last week, Piastri is the best driver at McLaren. I agree with him 100%. Piastri is a rookie, and he is outperforming Norris on most weeks. Maybe the points don't show that, but he is improving and he's showing that he's better than Norris. So I'm gonna say Piastri is my dark horse this weekend. I could see him getting maybe not a podium, but I could see him somewhere 4th through 7th by the end of this race.
All right, I'm gonna have to agree with Verstappen here, and his absolute dominance, Red Bull's dominance, historical season, going down as a great in 2023. Unbelievable year, by the way, but I mean, I think you'd just be crazy not to choose Verstappen and win this race. I'm curious. What were the odds on Verstappen winning the race at Vegas? Like, if you would have put $20 in, how much would you have won?
You'd have won like $20.
$20.01.
Yeah, it was not good.
But yeah, definitely Verstappen. And then for my dark horse, and I'm gonna go for a twofer here. All right, I'm gonna go with Leclerc. I think he's definitely gonna get a podium. But not only that, we're gonna watch Ferrari take P2 in constructors, and we're gonna see Sainz finish 4th in the championship. So I think overall, Abu Dhabi is going to be a great weekend for Ferrari. It's going to be a great weekend for Sainz. It's going to be a great weekend for Leclerc. I think as a dark horse, I don't know if it'd be hard for me to choose Sainz as a dark horse because he does have a win this year. But I would with Leclerc's performance in Vegas, what a performance, honestly, out of a Ferrari with all of their pit strategy struggles and just absolute tomfoolery this year. What a race! What a show that they put on for sure. So I just think that Ferrari's on a high right now. They would have done really good with Sainz if they didn't get that BS penalty. We'll see the prancing horses up there for sure. I think so. And I would go as far as to say Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, your top 3. So I'm pretty confident in that, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And I got 2 things to add to that. With Verstappen, if he wins this weekend, that'll move him up to 54 Grand Prix victories, which would move him solely into P3 on the all-times win list for Formula 1. Only behind Schumacher and Hamilton. So he's tied right now with Sebastian Vettel right now, 53 career victories. And then the other thing I want to say is I know Tom has been high on Leclerc pretty much since he's gotten into Formula 1. I have always been skeptical. This weekend, I am sold 100%. He is the real freaking deal. He is. His performance this week was amazing. That safety car didn't come out with 20 on lap 27. uh, Leclerc wins this race, and not only wins it,
Yeah.
but wins it by 10 seconds. Like, he was way out ahead. Like, he went by us, and then it was like 15 seconds counting in my head before second place Perez came by. So without that extra safety car, he was gonna do it on a one stopper, and he was gonna absolutely annihilate the field. So yeah, I'm sold on Leclerc.
Just think that honestly, Leclerc, if you take him away from Ferrari, put him in a Red Bull seat, put him in a Mercedes seat, put him in an Aston Martin seat when they were fast, he would have multiple race wins this year. I 100% believe it. I'm willing to put my freaking house on it. Honestly, you put him in a Mercedes seat next to George Russell, he'd have 2 wins this year. I'd put my house on it. Honestly, I really would. I just think that Ferrari's just not the team for him. I just don't think it's a good fit. Unfortunately, he's locked with a pretty good contract, but he could win races.
Yep, I agree. 100%. It was an awesome weekend. I'm still buzzing. I gotta get my sleep schedule rearranged in my head again. It's all backwards. But yeah, so that will pretty much do the podcast. There's a few more things we want to talk about here before we let you guys go this evening. First off is this weekend. That's right, this weekend. Again, before you guys forget, this weekend, it's already scheduled. We're going to be doing the watch party for Abu Dhabi right here on this channel about 7:45 Eastern time in the morning on Sunday. Tom and me will be here bright and early. That's early for me. I'm on the West Coast, so come and enjoy it. I'll be drinking some coffee, trying to wake up and watch this race. But it should be good. I mean, it's Abu Dhabi. It's the season finale. We've seen some great races here in the past, and I'm excited to see what happens this weekend. And I can't wait to interact with you guys on YouTube. Should be pretty fun. I'm excited to end the season as well as kind of sad that it's ending. all in one here. And then is there something else you wanted to add here?
Yeah, so Jay, you and I talked about it a little bit to kind of, keep things flowing on our channel here, talking to talk about stuff on our podcast, to interact with you guys just a little bit. I thought it would be a great idea, maybe we put a community post out there, giving you guys the opportunity to discuss a hot topic with us on the podcast. Whether it be, maybe it's something about, our early words about Ryan Blaney in the early season, or, what do we think about, 2024 and Ryan Blaney chances, or, what do we think about 2024 and Mercedes coming out and saying that they're ready to fight, they have the car, or, maybe it's something, with IMSA, WEC, Xfinity, ARCA, trucks, anything. I think it'd be a great option for you guys to come on and get a shout out by us, get a question in, something that maybe challenges Jay and I's brain here with some of the opinions that we have. Maybe get some rolling dialogue going on or something. We might just come up with a new saying. I don't know. Big Daddy NASCAR is been our saying for a minute here, and we might come up with something else. I don't know. But I think it'd be great to give our fans a great platform to come on here and ask us questions. Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. I think that'd be a great idea to go ahead and do that with our community chat.
Yeah, that would be really fun. Like I said, during this off season, we got one more podcast next week. It's just going to be kind of planned out, kind of the way this was. We're going to preview or review the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but in the next few podcasts to come, we're going to be doing an IndyCar season preview episode. Everything IndyCar to get you set up for 2024. Same with NASCAR, IMSA, IndyCar, WEC, Formula One, everything. We're going to cover one in each podcast and preview and set up the season there. So we will do a community question, as Tom said, and give you guys a chance to interact with your specific favorite type of motorsport. Ask us good questions. We'll bring it up on the podcast and we'll discuss them right here. It'll be fun. This offseason is going to be a lot of fun stuff. And with the new year coming, we might see a little bit of rebranding with the channel a little bit, change some things around, make some stuff fresh. So, and we're on the pursuit to 100 or 1,000 subs. We just crossed 700. Appreciate every single one of you awesome people that come here and watch our videos on a regular basis. Comment, subscribe, like our videos, push them up to the recommended. We appreciate you guys a ton. You guys make this whole thing worth it. You guys make this whole thing. Without you guys, this wouldn't even be a thing. We'd just be two talking heads up here saying some random BS that you guys don't agree with. So without you guys, we're nothing. So we appreciate every one of you to the max. And with the holiday season coming up, make sure to go check out our merch store. Go buy you some Big Daddy NASCAR merch. Go send it to your friends, your family, your loved ones. Send it to your boss. Maybe they will give you a pay raise for this holiday season, or a bonus to buy some more awesome swag at our shop.
Yeah.
All of the proceeds go back to help our channel out and allow us to keep making this great content for you guys every week. Also, buy a tubby of Dubby. Buy the starter pack. It's a great stocking stuffer. Share it with your friends, family, and loved ones this holiday season. Use promo code DegaBoys for 10% off your first purchase. So we really appreciate you guys. Thanks to our sponsors and our channel partners, which Tom is going to talk about now.
Okay, so hey, if you guys are into firearm customization, modification, make sure you guys go over and give the King of Camo a little bit of love in there. Give them a little bit of a like, a little bit of a comment, subscribe. It means a lot to them. It means a lot to us as well. Make sure you guys go over there and tell them the Dega Boys sent you. It means a lot. Look, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but they post some really funny stuff. Look, go check out some of their shorts. Honestly, I was just watching one they just uploaded. It was pretty freaking hilarious. They've got some humor there. So go over there again, like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot to them, means a lot to us in our partnership with them. We truly appreciate you guys doing that. Also, we're gonna be broadcasting some more races with Nexus. So make sure you guys tune in for all of our broadcasts. We're kind of having a off week this week. Next week we'll be hitting it hard again. So make sure you guys come back and check us out. Check Jay and I out in our broadcasting endeavors. Maybe some pretty cool stuff coming up. We might be able to go ahead and do some charity events. So we'll have some more information on that coming up. So make sure you guys stick around for that as well. Any donations are greatly appreciated. We'll get you guys more info on that too. It's still building. So not a lot to give out right now, but some cool stuff coming nonetheless.
There it is. And thank you again to Dallas Seward, a member on our membership program. If you guys want to become a member on our membership program, go check that out in the description below. Many different options and tiers for you guys to choose according to your preference of our channel. All of those profits go back to help our channel as well. So go check that out and become a member like Dallas Seward. It'll be a great thing. Also in the chat, we had TP Gaming in there. That's our production manager, Donovan. He says BDR. I think he meant BDN. I'm not sure. And then King of Camo. Bros. Yes. Go check out King of Camo. Nate and Ryan, those guys are awesome. They're hilarious, like Tom said. Go check out their shorts. Those are some awesome dudes right there. They're so knowledgeable with guns, and they do some really good work. You guys got to go check them out. But with that being said, we'll be back here on Sunday for the Abu Dhabi Watch Party, and we'll be back here on Tuesday, episode 45. We'll recap the race this weekend, cover some more news, and get set up for the off season and all the great content to come. Thank you guys again for coming to this podcast tonight. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning of this podcast. We worked through them, had a good time with you guys. Thanks, Tom, for coming out. Had a great time talking tonight. Some racing. It was just a good time. It's good to be back in my element, back at the studio, and more great content to come. And hopefully you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving this weekend. That's important. We're thankful for you guys.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you guys can share thanks to the people you're thankful for. All righty. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for the episode 45 of the Full Send Half Mast podcast. This is Dega Boys signing off.